Hi everyone, my name is Nathan from 12Labs, and today I'm super excited to be presenting our latest demo app, which is called the Jockey Streaming Intelligence Platform. And so essentially the point of this app is to really surface the capabilities of our latest model, Jockey, and how it is super powerful in not only traditional content engines, but how we can actually leverage its cross-episode reasoning capabilities to do a whole range of different tasks. And so specifically, this app focuses on 4 different use cases, and that being metadata hydration. So that's specifically taking a corpus or a folder of videos and turning that into specific metadata about each video. So things like a chapter timeline, who's in the video, summaries of the video. And now with Jockey, now that it's a corpus level model, also answering questions as to why is this video important and what does it represent in the context of all the other videos. And so as you can imagine, this is very powerful for things like video series or TV shows, which you'll see with our examples here. Our next use case is, of course, semantic search, and then personalized discovery rails, so essentially video recommendation, and then fast channel programming. So this is getting into the range of, given a video library, help me make edits, help me compile videos, get specific timestamps for specific use case. And so that is very powerful for things like content creation as well as streaming video. And so, of course, before I get started on showcasing the application, all of this is going to be open source. It's deployed on jockey-streaming-intelligence.vercel.app. But yeah, feel free to take a look at the code after. It goes much more into detail on specifically the architecture behind the app, as well as all the details on how we're actually utilizing the Jockey API. And so currently there's only Hell's Kitchen indexed into this demo app, but by the time you're watching this video, these other series may already have been uploaded. So definitely check it out. And so we can open up the Hell's Kitchen series. And then so from here, you can see we're on the library. And so this is specifically going to be the metadata hydration use case. So before, this is actually all I put into Jockey. I actually just uploaded these 5 videos into what's called a Jockey knowledge store. And so what a Jockey knowledge store does is it essentially takes your video components and does things like creating embeddings, understanding the context, utilizing Pegasus to understand bits of the video, and then have that as sort of the model's memory to then later be referenced for more complex questions. But of course, you can read more on the specifics of the model. This is essentially just trying to prove that, hey, given these 5 videos that are completely just blank videos at the file level, when you process it into Jockey, you get a whole bunch of metadata. And so we can actually click view metadata here. You can see it gives it very relevant tags, things like the Michael Lamb scare, the Hannah clutch finish, signature dish challenge, an entire episode summary. So this was completely Jockey determining the summary on its own. You can see it identified this is season 23, the exact location, all the characters in the episode. So this is really the benefit of utilizing something like 12Labs over, like, let's say a normal vision large language model or more primitive models like Hugging Face models or YOLO. It has that LLM behind it so that it can actually answer these complex questions and reason through its thinking. And so it identified that, hey, the people in this episodes are actually celebrities. And so there's Gordon Ramsay, James Avery, things like that. So it comes up with the summary, importance in the series. So this is also something that's really important and specific to Jockey, as it looks at why is this episode important within the 5 episodes that you passed in to my knowledge store. And so we can see here that it says a whole bunch, but it also says that dynamic feeds directly into the dysfunction and pressure teased for the next episode's first dinner service. So as you can imagine, bunch of different use cases you can already have with that, now that you can actually prompt at the corpus level. there's also scene highlight. So it identified what is the most important scene of this episode. And we can go ahead and watch this scene.
With the blue team up by 3, Hannah, a country club chef from Florida, presents her
maple leaf duck breast, has a curry chocolate demi-glace, and we'll pre-shoot.
Curry chocolate duck breast. And this inspiration came from where?
Chocolate on duck, the blue team.
Dish. It excites and confuses.
Gives this dish, for me, in the chocolate. Have 5. Congratulations.
Yeah, so you can see very dramatic moment and probably arguably the most important moment of the entire series as this ends up sort of swaying the tide between the two teams. But you can also see there's a full episode timeline generated by Jockey, and this was done for every single episode. So this really turned our blank video corpus into a huge asset we can use for things like recommendations, things for displaying on any streaming channel, and things like that. And you can see an estimate of the amount of money we saved, $178 based off of the market value of how much it actually costs to hire someone to actually manually audit through these same videos and come up with that metadata manually. And all of this is nicely formatted in the Jockey metadata overview. And the reason we're able to do this is because we're using Jockey's structured JSON output capabilities to actually get this output in a JSON format to make it so that we can export it to really anywhere. And so the next one is going to be our Explore tab. And so the Explore tab, as we saw before, it identified the most important scenes from Hell's Kitchen. So these are just all of them on show. But there's also things like signature moments, team dynamics, character arcs. And so how this is all generated is utilizing and really testing Jockey's semantic search capabilities. And so essentially this page is generated from a simple Jockey prompt where I asked what are the most important moments from the entire series that would apply to a very general audience. And it came up with all this. It came up with all these different clips. But you could also do a more specific semantic search like heated argument at a dinner table. Yeah, and you can see blue team ejected, both kitchens wobble, and then right here directly, specifically at the dinner table, you can also search up chef confrontation with contestant. And you can see, again, yeah, head-to-head kitchen standoffs, call-outs. So you can see that despite the fact that we've sort of unified both Pegasus and Marengo into a single Jockey model, the capabilities remain the same. It's just that there's now this sort of unlocked feature that you're able to search on a corpus level as well. And then there's also personalization. So specifically for personalization, it's meant to showcase how Jockey is also great for video recommendations and these more complex prompts. And so essentially how this page works at a very high level is that given this audience configuration, so given that this audience member is looking for feel-good content, they're really looking for a max clip length of 20 minutes, they don't want to see violence, harsh language, and they really want to see Gordon Ramsay. Given that, I came up with these clips. And so as you can see in like typical like video recommendation engines, there needs to be like fairly complex algorithms and fairly complex decision making sort of methodologies to come up with recommendations. But with Jockey being able to reason through this entire episode and already showing that it's been able to find important moments, it's able to utilize that same logic and actually come up with very good recommendations for different people. So as you can see for Feel Good Family, we have things like red celebrates while blue absorbs the loss. So if we watch this clip,
Red team just won. Whoop, whoop. We are going bowling. I'm excited to get out of Hell's Kitchen.
yeah, so very happy moment that the red team has finally won. But then if we switch to something like Suspense Seeker, where we want tense scenes, we don't want to see feel-good filters, and we want to see things like Gordon Ramsay and high stake contestants, we can see, for example, blue team tension carries over.
Just figuring this whole fucking thing out, dude. It's getting really fucking hard.
Egypt is definitely too much in the kitchen. I'm worried about him.
So very intense suspense-seeking moments there as well. And lastly is program. So essentially what this does is that you can now essentially using natural language prompt to get a full fast channel lineup brief. And so for this one, we're saying build a 90-minute weeknight fast block from Hell's Kitchen. We want specifically high energy Ramsey confrontations, things like that. And so what Jockey does is it goes in, again, utilizing its cross-episode reasoning, finds specific clips to formulate this 90-minute block for you, for your streaming channel. And then so there's it's also fairly explainable. Of course, it's not like a deterministic sort of approach where you'll always get the same lineup, but Jockey is able to provide very good rationale and reasoning as to why it chose this, the lead in, the lead out, and reason through how it built this full program. And so yeah, that pretty much covers this demo app. There will be a blog linked in the description of exactly how we built it and how you can clone this repository and build it on your own local machine as well. Again, highly encourage you to check out the blog, the architecture diagram, as well as the open source code. And yeah, as I think it'd be a great way to kickstart your journey into the 12Labs ecosystem and get really hands-on with Jockey. And so yeah, with that, thanks for watching.